So yesterday, for about 20 minutes, I went blind, and here's why. So yesterday afternoon, I was just finishing up two very busy classes, instrumental classes. I had people texting me at the end of my class, and when I went to go look at my text messages, I couldn't see them. So in my direct vision, I couldn't see. My peripheral, I was okay, and my students had left at that point, and it began progressively getting worse. So a few minutes later, I called my wife. She wasn't picking up the phone. I started panicking a little bit. It's not pleasant when you begin losing your vision. And then she wasn't picking up, and then my older son, wasn't picking up his phone, and he always has his phone on him, and he always picks up his phone. And then I called my younger son, and he wasn't picking up his phone either, and he normally picks up the phone too. So I was going through this very surreal, disoriented type of mental state. Well, I didn't know what was going on. So I sat down for a minute, and then I took a walk up to our church to try to get better signal. And the same thing, I called my wife multiple times. She didn't pick up. And then what was weird was I was kind of passing people in the hallway. They didn't say anything to me as I walked by, and I was like, wow, this is weird. This is really strange. And then, I walk into the church, and I'm thinking to myself, as I'm panicking a little bit, because I can still, I can see peripheral. I just can't see direct right on. So I lost my vision with my direct vision. So anything I looked at directly, I couldn't see. And I sat down in the church, and I was still a little panicky, a little disoriented, and I'm thinking, what if, and I know this isn't the case, but what if I'm dead? Like, what if this is what it's like when you aren't in heaven? But it was one of those moments where I'm thinking, well, what if this is what death is like? Like that movie Ghost, where you're kind of walking aimlessly, and and people just don't acknowledge your existence. And it was, again, one of those panicked moments, and I just wanted to contact my wife. I just wanted to just get a hold of her and just let her know what was going on. Finally, after about 15 minutes of trying to reach her, I contacted my son. My son picked up his phone, and I said, "Where's Mom?" And he goes, "Oh, she's in the living room." So, I get on the phone with her, and I say, "Listen, I'm not to panic, but I think I'm losing my vision, my direct vision, and I don't know what's going on." So I got off the phone with her. She said, "I'll pray for you. If you need to, call the doctor." I said, let me just relax for a few minutes. So after about 10 minutes, it's been about 25 minutes at this point, my vision, that blurriness in my direct vision, began to migrate up and out to the left. So now I can see my direct vision, but I can still see this blur to the left, and then eventually it did disappear, thank God. But I was praying, Jesus, what is this? What is going on with my eyes? I was able to drive home. I called out of my second job. I was able to drive home. I get in bed. I shut all the shades because my eyes were really bothering me. So the back of my eyes, and then I contacted my doctor, and then my doctor, he was a little concerned. He says, well, it could be migraines, and I said, well, I don't suffer from migraines. And then he says, well, it could be you could have had a mini stroke, and right there, like, mini stroke. I'm like, oh my goodness. Okay, and then he tells me, and I'm not giving medical advice at all, so please don't take my medical advice. He says, well, you should be taking a baby aspirin once a day. Every morning, take a baby aspirin to prevent that from happening. Now, if it happens again, then we have to schedule an MRI for you. So I said, all right, well, let me just, we'll watch this. If it happens again, I will contact you. So we get off the phone, and about 10 minutes later, in my very stressful day, I remembered that a period before, I had been working on videos like this, editing videos like this, in one of my dark band rooms, and I had the lights off, and I had my computer, my laptop on fairly bright in front of me, and I had an LED light above the laptop because I was video recording my face. And I realized that could have been it, but I questioned that, and I still question that now because that was probably an hour prior to this experience happening. But I realized again, last year, the same thing happened to me where I thought I was going blind, and the class before that happened, I was doing a tutorial video on a 55-inch TV in a dark room, and I was standing 1 foot away from this bright TV, and I attributed that to the television set. And I thought, at that point, I thought I had burned my retinas and I was going blind at that point. So to make a long story short, I am going to attribute it to flash blindness. I'm going to keep an eye on this. I'm going to take the possibility that I had a mini stroke. I'm going to take it seriously because it is certainly a possibility that it was just coincidence. If you don't know Jesus, come to Jesus, because if in fact I was dead, and obviously I wasn't dead, and that it's not really a thing. It's not biblical that we are roaming the earth, right? That's not in the Bible. But once we're dead, there's no salvation. You can't pray yourself into heaven, and you cannot have other people pray for your salvation while you are dead. You are either in heaven or you're in hell. There is no middle ground. So may I encourage you to come to Jesus today, because there may not be a tomorrow. And it was pretty scary for me to go through that incident. And just pray for me, and I'll pray for you. If you have any ailments or anything that you'd like prayer for, just leave your messages in the comments or direct message me, and we will pray for you at Pathway to Praise. Because in this life, we are together on this. We are worshiping, we are praising the Lord together. I thank you all so much for following me, and just keep me in prayer, and that this doesn't happen again. And I'll see you on the next episode. God bless you all.